which would enable Australia to move to the next phase more broadly, that would allow Australians to travel overseas and return if they are vaccinated, and to return vaccinated with no caps on their return. I'm very pleased that the New South Wales government has advised, as you've learned today, that they'll be in a position to move to a no quarantine arrangement for people arriving back in Australia from the 1st of November, which enables us to be in a position to ensure that we can lift the caps for returning Australian citizens, residents and their families from the 1st of November into New South Wales. What this also means is that we will be allowing Australians, permanent residents and citizens and their families, to leave Australia from wherever they live in Australia and return. But obviously the capped arrangements in other states will continue because of the vaccination levels in those places and the arrangements they have in place in each of those states and territories. So this is further demonstration of Australians getting vaccinated is enabling them to do more and more and more. New South Wales is hitting 80% double-dose vaccination rates. Here in this city, it is turning into one of the more vaccinated cities in the world today. And that is a great achievement for Australia, and in particular those right across Greater Sydney. And it's been hard fought and hard won. And that's why I welcome the fact that this is a further sign of the national plan coming into effect and allowing Australians to start reclaiming so many of the things that have been taken from them throughout this pandemic. I also want to note that at the National Security Committee earlier this week, where we considered these matters on Tuesday, we also agreed that we would be looking at expanding the definition of immediate family to include the parents of Australian residents and citizens. And I know that will be very welcome news to Australians right across the country who are hoping to be reunited with their family members, their parents who are overseas. Now, in New South Wales' case, that means that those family members will be able to come into Sydney if they are vaccinated and not have to quarantine under the arrangements that the Premier has announced today. So that is a welcome step forward. I want to stress that for the other states and territories, and I've advised the Premiers and Chief Ministers to this end, that this is about Australian residents and citizens first. The Commonwealth Government has made no decision to allow other visa holders, skilled visa holders, student visa holders, international visitors travelling under an ETA or other international visa arrangement, visiting visa arrangement, to come into Australia under these arrangements. They are decisions for the Commonwealth Government, as the Premier and I know, but where we're in a position to make that decision down the track, then obviously in New South Wales they'll be able to do so if they're vaccinated without having to quarantine. So I think that should provide some sense of assurance to those in other states that all we're talking about now is Australian citizens, residents and their immediate families, which will be looking to extend to the parents of those Australian citizens and residents. So that's good news. We're making good progress. We're looking forward to hitting 70% national double-dose vaccinations, and as we've particularly gone over the 80% mark as well for single-dose vaccinations right around the country.